We're missing one council member, so
There
he comes. Okay. Just want to make sure we have everybody. But I'd like to welcome everybody to this February 25th, 2019 council meeting. We have some special guests here today. We have the Cub Scout Wolf Den number 3507 from the First Christian Church, and Dave Rowland is the, I don't know if you call it the Scoutmaster or the den leader? Den leader. And what I want you to do today is to have the Wolf Den come up to the microphone, because you're going to lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance today. Isn't that great? I think it is. So come on up, and then you can start when everybody's ready.
Is it on? Is it on? I think so. Here. Up here.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Heffinger.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Starcher.
Here.
Coin.
Here. Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of council from February 11, 2019 as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
Discussion on the reading of the minutes. Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council and will meet again in 2 weeks. We had a lengthy discussion. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Health and Safety had a meeting prior to our finance meeting tonight downstairs. I got an update from the police chief and the fire chief. Probably at the last meeting in March or the first meeting in April, I'll have another Health, Safety, and Sanitation meeting, this time getting a update from Mr. Piccoli on sanitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening, no meeting scheduled.
Thank you, Special Legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report. I believe that the legislation proposed for the equality legislation will be completed sometime later this week, and will give us some time to take a look at it and have a discussion with the administration, and then schedule a meeting hopefully late this month, late in March rather.
Thank you, Streets and Sidewalks, Mr. Heffinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a meeting scheduled as a council of the whole on March 6th for the South Broadway Street reconstruction project. All residents of South Broadway Street that are on the brick section are invited to join us here at City Hall at 6 o'clock so we can discuss what we plan to do with this road.
Thank you. And Water and Utilities, Mr. Starcher.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report tonight and no meeting scheduled this time.
Thank you. And Emerging Technologies Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. We have 1935 budget amendments. 1930.
You can't get up and go?
1938 fitness room addition project approval. 1939 expenditure over $15,000 for MNJ Technologies MCRC. 1940 update for the electronic device policy and adopt social media policy. 1941 expenditure for software solutions Finance Department. 1942 trade-in of 3 police vehicles. 1943 purchase of 5 police cruisers from Lebanon Ford. 1944 then and now for Lexapol. 1945 a then and now for Ohio State Patrol. 1946 a then and now for Verizon. And 1947 a then and now for Ohio Edison. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 25th annual Ice Festival took place in our community Friday, February 15th through Monday, February 18th. And very thankful to the sponsors and Elegant Ice Creations for bringing this event to our city each February. It was a great draw to our community in support of the local businesses. Elegant Ice stopped to see me after the event was over to return the keys and tell me that the city of Medina and our staff are one of the best to work with, and they really enjoy hosting the event here. It's also good for our community after the the break after the holidays to get that influx of additional people here in town. And the weather was ideal for it. Wasn't too warm to where the ice was going to melt, and nor was it too cold to where people couldn't be out. And then on last Thursday, February 21st at 7 p.m. at Second Baptist Church, they had the Black History Month celebration. There were two different choirs. Choir members from the community made up a diversity choir, as well as a group from Claggett Middle School. Both performed, and the city was represented by Councilman Bob Starcher, Councilman Jim Shields, Chief Kinney, and I. Cleveland Scene magazine ranked the best French fries, 20 top places around the Cleveland area, and Medina had 2 of the top 20. PJ Marley's on our square, and yours truly out on 18 by Lake Medina. I'd like to congratulate both of them. On Thursday, March 7th, from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. is the Main Street Medina Ladies Night Out on our square. That's a Thursday. And the businesses will have specials and different activities for the ladies on those nights. And then last, I'd like to congratulate Captain Larry Cotting of the Medina Fire Department on his retirement. And thank you, Larry, and your entire family for your service to our community on the fire department for many, many years. I appreciate working with you.
Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are a number of items on the agenda that originated with Finance. I will address those when we get there. In addition, I'd like to remind residents that the city has an income tax and all residents are required to file. We have some assistance with those forms if you need assistance with that. The dates for that should be on your screen if you're watching at home. They are Thursday, March 14th from 9 to 4 and Saturday, April 6th from 11:30 to 6:30. Both of those are at the Rec Center here in Medina. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Mendel, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Chief Painter, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick, congratulations to Larry on his retirement, and no report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Forestry Department was out yesterday evening as well as today and the next couple days cleaning up tree debris from the recent winds that we had. So if there's anybody out there that does have some damage and it hasn't been reported, please call the Parks Department and we'll make sure to get it taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a quick 2018 year-end report on the Building Department's responsibility. 2018 was a very busy and successful year for the City of Medina's Community Development Department, of which the Building Department is a part of. In 2018, the department issued 1,524 construction permits, which required 5,668 inspections. The 524 construction permits represent a total investment or reinvestment in the community of $67.8 million, of which $62.2 million was for commercial projects and $5.6 million was for residential projects. For a city that is pretty much built out, these investments continue to show that the City of Medina is an excellent place to live and do business. The city also issued a record number of contractor registrations, 959 total for the year. The City of Medina requires all contractors working within the city limits to hold a current registration. The purpose of the registration requirement is to ensure that the contractors are current with their state license and carry the proper liability insurance. The large number of construction permits and contractor registrations continues to make the building department self-sufficient. The building department has dual responsibilities: new construction and property maintenance code enforcement. In 2018, the building department performed 652 code enforcement survey inspections, another 238 complaint inspections. The building department was able to resolve all but 9. The 9 required court action. The goal is to resolve property maintenance code concerns on a friendly level, one-on-one, and to only use the courts as a last resort for compliance. There was also a total of 49 foreclosures within the city last year. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you. Last Friday, we received bids for the reconstruction of West Smith Road, Phase 3. This is the section between Lake Road and Commerce Drive. Today, the Board of Control did award a contract for $1.5 million for that project. We anticipate starting sometime in the middle of April. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Broccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. As our Parks Director referenced, Jansen Worley, about the windstorm that passed through this area yesterday, I wanted to acknowledge our street crews working together with forestry and especially the dispatch center. The folks in dispatch did a great job. Our crews were out from like 9:45 until 9:30 last night, chasing down, literally chasing everything that the wind was blowing. Just wanted to acknowledge them. Thank you.
Thank you. Confirmation of council appointments. We have 2 for the Firemen's Dependent Board. We have Barb Starcher for a term expiring 12/31/22, and we have Denny Simpson for a term expiring 12/31/22.
Move to confirm council's appointments.
Second.
Discussion on council appointments. Will our clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the council appointments?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Starcher?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Heffinger?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Notices, communications, and petitions. There's none. Unfinished business. There's none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. Members, all comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Nobody? Okay. Introduction and considerations of ordinances and resolutions. We have one resolution we're going to start out with, and I would ask Mr. Cotting to approach the front. Just straighten out here for you. Welcome. We have a resolution for council. It's 2819. It's a resolution commending the retired Captain Larry Cotting for his dedicated years of service to the city of Medina and as a valued member of the Medina City Fire Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Let me read this before we vote. It says, whereas Larry A. Cotting has been employed as a firefighter for the City of Medina Fire Department for over 36 years, he joined the department on November 1st, 1982, and was promoted to captain on October 3rd, 2004, and served the citizens of the City of Medina and Montville Township throughout his career. And over the years, Larry held the following state certifications. He was a firefighter number 2, fire safety inspector, and EMT basic, along with obtaining his fire officer 1 and 2 certifications. And Medina City Council and the Mayor Hanwell wish to express their gratitude and appreciation to Captain Larry Cotting for his dedicated years of public service to the City of Medina and the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, that Medina City Council and the Mayor hereby commend Captain Larry A. Cotting for his 36-plus years of dedicated public service as a firefighter and captain of the Medina City Fire Department. The Medina City Council and the Mayor hereby extend their sincere thanks and appreciation to Captain Larry A. Cotting for his commitment to the city and community and wishes him good health, success, and prosperity in his retirement. Larry, congratulations. Do you have any words of wisdom? It seems like you're well appreciated. Do you have any words of wisdom for the rest of the members?
Not really, just hang in there.
I guess that's as good as any. Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Starcher?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Heffinger?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Resolution 28-19 passes 7-0.
Congratulations again.
Mr. President? I just wanted, and I don't know if the community remembers, probably a month ago there was an article about the Cotting family in the local print media. Larry's dad, Leland, was our first full-time fire chief in the city of Medina. But Larry is the last of his siblings to retire from the fire department. His brother Mark, his brother Steve, and his sister Susie was also on the fire department, and he's the last Cotting to be retiring at this time. I don't recall the number of years of service between all of you that there was, but I know it's well over 100 years of service from the Cotting family. And Larry, I had the pleasure of working with you over the years, and your expertise, your leadership is going to be sorely missed by the men, and I guess there's no women now on the fire department, but there were, the men on the fire department for a long time to come. And as President Coyne said, excuse me, best of luck to you in your retirement, good health, and have fun. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Ordinance 2919, we have an ordinance to amend the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio by amending the following sections of Part 11, Planning and Zoning Code, sections 110901, 114101, 114105, 114504A, and 114704D.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Mendel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As you said, these are proposed amendments to various sections of the Planning and Zoning Code. This had gone in front of the Planning Commission on November 8th, was recommended for approval to the City Council. Went to Finance Committee on December 10th, 2018. Went to public hearing in front of City Council on January 28th, and now is in front of you for ordinance review. And generally, the various sections relate to site plan review process, the purpose statement for the I-1 Industrial District, the I-1 Industrial District lot development standards, schedule of parking of off-street parking requirements, and then lastly for non-conforming signs section. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance? Will clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coyne.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 29-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3019, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of arrangement with the Auditor of State, Keith Faber, for the preparation of the annual audit for the City of Medina for the fiscal period ending December 31st, 2018.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for our annual audit, and I request your approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coyne.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 30-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3119, an ordinance authorizing an increase of expenditures to Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company to $40,000 for the sanitation department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Picoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. The sanitation vehicle maintenance supervisors obtain pricing from various local contractors, vendors. They're in agreement to increase this purchase order for tires and tire service for the rest of the year in sanitation department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Coyne.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Ordinance 31-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3219, ordinance amending ordinance number 10317, passed July 10th, 2017, relative to section 3101 of the Salaries and Benefits Code, to schedule of pay for positions of members of council.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to clarify for everyone at home that we are not changing or increasing council salaries. What this ordinance will do is clarify that the salaries in place through 2021 will continue beyond 2021 until such time as council should amend them.
Yes, I know there's a little confusion in the paper saying that we're getting raises, but we're not. So, does anybody have any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
No.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coyne.
Yes.
Ordinance 32-19 passes 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Ordinance 3319, an ordinance amending section 91704D of the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to bulk water rates.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are not increasing the rate that we charge for bulk water, but what we have, what this ordinance will do is put in a minimum bill for bulk water. And the reason for that, which the committee discussed, we had a customer who was purchasing 500 gallons at a time. We charged $4.50 per 1,000 gallons, so the city was sending a bill for $2.25. And by the time we mailed that bill and processed the payment, and especially if it didn't get paid, it was simply not worth sending that bill. So we're going to have a minimum now.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Ordinance 33-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3419, ordinance amending ordinance number 19518 passed December 10th, 2018. Amendments to the 2019 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are budget amendments for the fitness room project at the rec center.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 34-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3519, ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause in the ordinance. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance and the next three deal with expenditures we did not have purchase orders for because of year end, and the emergency clause is requested because the vendors need to be paid for the service that they are providing.
Thank you. We won't go back to you for each other one, but we'll just keep them going. Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 35-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3619, ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
As mentioned, this is like the last one. Any further discussion or comment on emergency clause or ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 36-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3719, ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Only one more after this one. Any further discussion on the emergency clause or ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 37-19 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 3819, ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, there were sums were lawfully appropriated in funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any discussion on emergency clause or ordinance? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of the emergency clause.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Starcher.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 38-19 passes 7-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just would like to just take a minute to thank everybody from the Parks Department, Forestry Department, Service Department, Police Department, and Fire Department for the extraordinary job they did over the last 32 to 40 hours with the storm that went through. It was a real dangerous situation for anybody that was outside. Hopefully you didn't sustain too much damage to your personal property, but there was a lot of damage that occurred. And again, the city, the departments that I mentioned went above and beyond their call of duty in helping residents and helping keeping our streets passable. And I understand even the police chief was out with a chainsaw at one point. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your efforts, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional council comments? Mr. Lamb. I know you have something to say.
Yeah, well, maybe not. Congratulations, Larry. Appreciate your, your really long time commitment. I knew your dad well, and you started working almost the exact same month that I started as mayor. And I think you swore me out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I did. The thing is, I know I look different and you look different, so I didn't want to say that and have it be like, no, not
His
really.
wife doesn't, though. She looks exactly
No, you
the
do.
same.
Yeah. You stuck with the trophy wife. Yeah, I bought my, and tell you how far back we go, I bought my first VCR from the store down on down in the square where Castle Noel is today. Yeah. So anyway, congratulations. Thank you very much, for that long time commitment to our community, which is what makes this, community so special. And to the Scouts, I simply want to say, I never got to be a Scout, and I've said this before, but it's such a wonderful organization, and it has such a significant history of building character and training that carries on through your adult life. And I only know this because I know folks that were Scouts. And my father, who's no longer alive, was an Eagle Scout. And even when he was old, I mean, in his 80s, he would unoccasionally talk about his scouting experiences. And some of them sounded so incredibly awesome that I'm pretty sure they might not have been true. But he did remember that. And you're young now. But it is a terrific organization, and you're so fortunate, I think, to be a part of that, a part of Scouting, and particularly and in our community is especially wonderful. So thanks for coming.
Any additional council comments? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.